Good day and welcome to MWEB's Entrepreneur Zone, the series where we chat with South African entrepreneurs. I'm Paul Hobden, and with me today I've got the founder and CEO of RUBYBOX, Sylvia Gruber. Welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Tell me a bit more about the RUBYBOX story.
Okay, so RUBYBOX is an online beauty business. With RUBYBOX, we market and sell beauty products to South African consumers, specifically to South African women that get delighted with beauty products every month. So how does it all came about with RUBYBOX? Basically, myself and my business partner, Margot Knappe, we founded RUBYBOX just over a year ago. We brought it, seeing it internationally, from a model called Birchbox.com in the US. We brought it to South Africa because we thought it would be an ideal product for the South African market. South African women are very beauty affine. It's an amazing category that has seen immense growth rates. The online space is relatively untapped, and it's a very easy entry product. So actually, I mentioned we market and sell beauty products. The actual core of the business and how we got started is with a monthly surprise beauty box delighting consumers. So a consumer comes to our site, subscribes to RUBYBOX, which is 100 Rand a month, ongoing until the consumer decides to opt out, leaves us her personal beauty profile to make sure that we can target our beauty boxes according to our customers' needs. And with this information, every month the consumer receives a lovely box to actually a minimum value of 200 Rand, delivered to her door, couriered to her, and the surprise aspect is lovely. We see our consumers loved it because they never know really what they're getting. The brands are amazing, well-known brands, new brands we bring into the market, so a really nice mixture of brands and products, and so that has basically been the entry to RUBYBOX. And now, having seen immense growth and success with this model, we have extended to also sell beauty products online that our consumers trialed previously.
But there must have been some complexities in adapting it for the South African market. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge regarding the RUBYBOX model in South Africa, or the beauty box model as we could call it, is distribution. So distribution in South Africa is not yet comparable to the US or to Europe. I mean, the country is obviously very vast. Courier fees are very high, which naturally is a bit of a holdback for an online business, because courier fees usually should be worked into your pricing. In our case, RUBYBOX comes with free delivery. Also, there is a difference in the US. Birchbox delivers by post, because there's actually a quite big post. There's not just a post slit, but like quite big post space to deliver the box to, which we can't do. Yeah? So actually in South Africa you have to work with a courier network, and it becomes better and better. So in this year, actually the service has grown a lot because also courier services adapt to the growing need of e-commerce, of online businesses. And definitely the arrival of various online businesses has helped the market to grow in this regard and has helped distribution to improve. Yeah, so that was one of the major challenges, definitely. And the second challenge, I would say that we would count as pioneers in the market in online, nevertheless, because it is very new in South Africa, and it is a new concept to get the South African consumer adapted to shop online, to trust you actually as an online business, to leave her credit card details, the whole payment scenarios, how to forego the fact that a lot of South African consumers don't have a credit card or a check card with CVV code. So our environment is difficult. Also, the banking regulations in South Africa are a bit tricky with regards to secure codes that need to be transmitted with online transactions, which is a bit more strict in South Africa due to a lot of fraud happening, unfortunately, in Africa. So there is regulations that hold e-commerce a little bit back. I think it's very important to understand the environment, to know the challenges, and from my experience, there's always ways in which you can improve, in which you can work on these challenges and actually overcome them.
Your growth has been remarkable. As you say, you're just over a year old. How have you managed that growth while looking after your cash flow and the operations of the business?
Well, we are self-funded. We were a self-funded business for exactly a year, pretty much. So we bootstrapped, like this famous term, bootstrapping. Yeah? So that's exactly what we did. RUBYBOX is a nice model because it's very cash flow strong. So basically the core of the business that I described earlier, consumers pay upfront the 100 Rand per month and the fulfillment happens later and all at the same time. So it's basically comparable a bit to a magazine subscription. People pay and then always in the same week or pretty much same day, but around about the same week, consumers receive their product. So again, this is not traditional e-commerce, this is subscription commerce / marketing, because in this fact, one of the major costs in e-commerce is actually stock. Yeah? So this fell away for us in terms of the bootstrapping scenario that we focused on in the beginning. So our model was really nice to get going with limited cash flow. That definitely helped us for a year to actually get it off the ground. Yeah.
Recently you got some external funding. How's that changed the game for you?
Yeah, so actually I think we were exactly at the right stage to get investment. We've worked on this for a while, so yeah, my advice regarding investment would definitely be to plan it quite well in advance, like 3 to 5 months in advance when you actually project where you want to go with your business. We recently received an investment by Hasselplattner Ventures Africa, a very renowned, a very well-known VC company. And we are very happy with this investment. It has helped us to even grow further, to actually go into exactly what I mentioned earlier. E-commerce is our big new objective, and that requires stock, and that requires now more staff, more processes. The complexity of the business has completely changed because suddenly from one product, the RUBYBOX, which clearly always has different products in it, but it's still one product in a way that we see it. Now we are stocking at the moment 300 products, 300 SKUs. So, and that will grow to about 1,000 by the end of the year. So the complexity of the business has changed tremendously. So definitely the investment and the cash helps us with that, but also the relationships that a company like this can bring you and a partner like this, from my perspective, are amazing. And I've really learned that talking to the right people and partnering with the right companies can bring you very far. And this is exactly what Hasselplattner Ventures helps us with.
You're moving more into the e-commerce space. We're seeing the emergence of a number of e-tailers. Do you think the online space is a good place for new South African startup businesses to be?
I definitely think so. South Africa is still small in absolute numbers in e-commerce, so we are approaching it a little different. As mentioned, we started with subscription commerce, which worked really well because it's a low barrier to entry product, not very complex. So the customer didn't have so much choice, which I think helped, because it is a new concept. You come to the site, it's all about this box, which clearly offers variety, but it is pretty easy. You don't get bombarded with a lot of information, too much information. So that basically would be one piece of advice. I keep it simple and clear, definitely. But now that we've built our customer stock in a certain brand, I think we can expand our offering. But how we see it also is that South Africa is very, very strong in social media and very involved. So the more involved you can actually make your offering and add content to it and make it conversational rather than pure hard sell, we believe it works better.
You've spoken there about social media, and you've clearly used that effectively to grow your business. What advice could you give other small businesses who are moving into that area?
I think social media is really it's a difficult topic because everyone nowadays thinks they have to have a Facebook page, they have to have a Twitter account, which we don't believe at all, actually. And I mean, it's also not right. Social media requires a complete strategy, 360 degrees, and what is the core of your business. In our case, RUBYBOX members feel like a community. and they do really, they refer to themselves as the rubies, etc. So it is, and we do as well. So we have grown this community, but also it gets accepted. So in our case, Facebook is very, very important because it is a community tool. Our Facebook page now counts over 23,000 fans, so it is quite a relevant one in the South African space. Plays definitely with the bigger companies. Not every tool has different capacities. We find Twitter for us works better as an industry tool to connect with industry partners, beauty brands, etc. Also with customers, but less in this space. Social media can also be used as a customer service tool, which a lot of companies might not think about to do that, but it's actually quite useful. And there's definitely amazing platforms that help you to manage all your different social media tools in one go. So social media clearly is Facebook is very big in South Africa, but my advice would be that you look at your business and does it make sense that you need a strong community before you jump into it. Because also Facebook has very high SEO rankings, so you don't want your Facebook page to come up on the first side of Google and then there is nothing happening there. It's actually more brand damaging than good.
That customer service that you talk about, what technologies can you use to facilitate that?
Customer service, we have found a really amazing tool that I can only recommend called MWEB. Which is a software that basically filters in questions that get asked and then suggests suggests answers basically. So we already see pretty much a 45% self-answering rate. Because in our case we have thousands of customers, which means a lot of queries, and MWEB helps us in this case. So definitely look out for tools that allow you to increase your self-answering rate. It helps customers to help themselves, basically. Have strong, frequently asked questions sections on your website. And also what I would say is customer service, try and use every touch point you have with the customers to learn more about the customer and potentially as an upsell opportunity if it works. But often I think every touch point you have with the customer presents an opportunity in itself. We try and not use social media for customer service, so that was our take on it. And we still get asked a lot of customer service questions, but we always try and redirect to an email address, to a telephone number. It's best. A company has to decide what their strategy is, and we said we want to use social media as a content tool rather than a customer service tool.
One of the difficulties I'm sure you experience though is that as soon as you open a channel, people will use it for customer service.
You have to be disciplined about not providing them the answer. Always obviously answering, but always referring to, I'm the content girl, please ask, or I'm the writer, I'm the editor, please ask Linda from customer service, as an example. So we make it very nice, very friendly, very personal, but we try and explain, actually this person cannot help you. And it still happens, so you're right, it still happens that people ask us, but we try and keep very disciplined in our way we respond.
You've got a lot of good international experience. How do you see the differences between the South African and the European market?
It's still small. So South Africa is not even comparable to a city. It's a big one in Europe. So in absolute numbers, it's small. E-commerce, if a company goes newly into e-commerce, they can't expect the big numbers to roll in. That's very important to know. So there needs to be patience. The market is growing, so that's definite, and then all the stats show that. But it comes from a very small base. So it's important to always think about what the base is. So it will still take some time to actually really produce numbers that work. That said, though, our subscription business took off amazingly well. So it usually converts 10 times as much as normal e-commerce stats. So that said, there is a market if you find the right product, I think.
Just celebrated a year in operation. Where to from here?
So our vision is to be the #1 beauty destination. We will focus on online, but our whole concept is actually 360 degrees. So we want our consumers to try products, to learn about them. So we just launched a beauty magazine, which is filled with amazing content, tips and tricks. There's even our beauty editor has a live chat session, so answers beauty questions and reviews, etc. So all the magazine features. So trial, learn, and then if you like what you trialed and learned, you can buy. So it's really a 360 degree model and also filled with interaction. So our consumers, our rubies, for every interaction, they can gain points, which then allows them to shop for less. Yeah? So it is also rewarding. So it's a two-way. It's always give and take, I believe, and consumers also value that. If you give them value, they also are happy to provide you with more information on them, potentially insights, reviews they write for us. So it's quite amazing. Like, we're trying to build very strong bonds with our customers. So definitely we focus on beauty as a category. That's where we're strong at. My business partner is also an ex-beauty editor, Glamour magazine. So there's a lot of business beauty expertise in our team. So that's our category, but we definitely want to expand and dominate the beauty space.
And that brings us on to the notorious quickfire round of questions. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The consumer's boss.
Your best moment as an entrepreneur?
Definitely sales. when people buy, we love it. And also having fun as a team. I mean, that's always great, our team outings and that.
The biggest mistake you've made?
Sometimes one forgets to listen to the consumer. They're so into operations and maximizing and profits, and that you forget to listen to actually who is at the core.
What qualities do you look for in people that you work with?
Open-minded, very ambitious, and definitely like driven and coming up with solutions rather than raising issues.
What for you makes a successful entrepreneur?
I think a successful entrepreneur needs to be courageous, risk taker in a certain sense, but definitely always measuring the risks. Yeah, strong in finance, I think, and a bit crazy.
What's the biggest inspiration to you as a small business owner?
I really like the fact that we can move so quickly, because we are still small. We're a small structure, and yeah, I like the fact that we can just react so quickly, and there's the structures, the ways are not so long in order to do something.
What would you do differently?
I wouldn't do anything differently, to be honest. I think that anything that I did to get me where I am has been necessary. There were clearly mistakes, but only with those you learn.
What makes South Africa a great place to be a small business owner?
People welcome new ideas with open arms. So I find that South Africans are get very excited about cool ideas. So that's amazing. That has helped us a lot, because a lot of big corporates that potentially wouldn't have talked to us in Europe, I guess, here are open to talk to you because they love your spirit and idea, and and really they like entrepreneurs. So that helps.
What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing. I sleep really well, which actually is awesome for me because it gives me a lot of energy for the day.
And what gets you going in the morning?
I like running on the beach. Yeah? Not coming from a sea country, that's amazing, and it gives me a lot of energy. And then I'm always super curious to see what happens during the day, because there's always new things, new challenges, new opportunities that come up pretty much every day. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us, Sylvia. And thank you for joining us. We look forward to the coming weeks where we will share more insights with South African entrepreneurs on the Entrepreneur Zone.